A big piece of news coming out of New Jersey today, where a judge there has ruled that the state must allow same-sex couples to marry. The judge says that now that the federal government recognizes same-sex marriages, not doing so in the Garden State would violate the state constitution. Her order says the marriages could begin October 21st. Here was Governor Christie's reaction to the news today.
Well, listen, I don't think the ruling was appropriate. I think it was wrong. I think it's typical, Eric, of what the problem we see in the New Jersey Supreme Court. The court, without a basis in standing, substituted their own judgment for the judgment of a Republican Congress and a Democratic president. And it's just another example of judicial supremacy rather than having the government run by the people who we actually vote for.
Now, Christie's press secretary then released the following statement, which I think it's kind of vague. Governor Christie has always maintained that he'd abide by the will of the voters on the issue of marriage equality and called for it to be on the ballot this election day. Since the legislature refused to allow the people to decide expeditiously, we will let the Supreme Court make this constitutional determination. Translation, please, somebody take this off my plate.
It's going to the state Supreme Court. This was a lower court judge that made the ruling today, so he's appealing to the state Supreme Court. It's unclear whether he would appeal further to the Supreme Court of the U.S. if need be.
I don't think he will. I think he wants this thing to go away. I think he knows where he governs, and nationally he can still keep his conservative bona fides that he's not a pro-gay marriage
This times
candidate.
badly for him if he picks this fight, because this is October. This is about 2 weeks before the election, and that's the last thing he wants is this being the #1 issue in New Jersey.
I think privately he and his staffers high-fived each other and say, finally, this is off our plate. I don't have to talk about this. Somebody else made the decision for me.
He's got to appeal it. He's got to appeal it to appease his 2016, his right flank for 2016. If he just lets it happen, he's not going to be president.
I don't know. I'm making a gentleman's bet here. I don't think he's going to push it all the way to the Supreme Court, but we'll find out. Now, the other issue in New Jersey has to do with Cory Booker. Now, Mayor Booker, as you know, he's in the middle of an election bid here to fill the seat of the late Frank Lautenberg in the U.S. Senate. But there's this Twitter headache that he's got to deal with. And it all starts with a stripper at a place in Oregon, and I can't make this stuff up, that dubbed itself the first vegan strip club in the world. Vegan and strip clubs, who knew they went together? Now, the Twitter conversation between this very unlikely pair is sparking some controversy. Her name is Lindsay Lee. I'm sure that's the birth name. She tweets out topless photos of herself, and she recently released a private Twitter conversation between herself and, yes, Cory Booker. On February 24th, Lee tweeted this message to the mayor: "The West Coast love you, and by West Coast, I mean me." The mayor then responded in a direct message saying, "The East Coast loves you, and by that East Coast, I mean me." Well, now I'm blushing. I can't believe I'm reading all this. Lee responded, and that was it. That's the entire context of the conversation here. Certainly not a huge scandal. No one's comparing it to Mr. Wiener's social media exploits, but some, including his opponent, as you'd imagine, Mr. Lonergan, they are questioning the exchange.
When you're running for the United States Senate, people should be looking at your judgment, your history of character.
Okay. I think Lonergan is... I think he should be careful in glass houses throwing stones with some of his certain discretion that he's used. But escapades, a better word maybe, Andrew. Big deal, no big deal. I saw this twice. I still was missing the to-do out of it, but maybe I'm missing it. No?
I don't think there's a story there. I mean, did you read the words?
Yeah.
I don't even, honestly.
No, and I can't unread them.
It's like, what is that? You know, these people Twitter and tweet so fast, they don't even pay attention. So, I mean, was it deliberate? Who knows?
Well, of course, there are the conspiracy theorists, Dominic.
I'm one of them.
And guys, if you can, we have a couple of quotes. All right, I'll read them then directly. But Cory Booker had been questioned on his sexuality, single guy, and always on the most eligible bachelor list and everything else. But there has been saying, hey, wait, are you straight or gay? He, when asked about this, said, quote, I'm quoting Cory Booker directly here, "People who think I'm gay, some part of me thinks it's wonderful because I want to challenge people on their homophobia. He also said, I love seeing it on Twitter when someone says I'm gay and I say, so what does it matter if I am? So be it. I hope you're not voting for me because you're making the presumption that I'm straight. The cynics say this exchange on Twitter was all put out for a cover on this. I'm not so sure how much he'd really be hurt if he was, in fact, even out if he was gay. And I'm making let's be clear, presumption that he is.
Right. We don't know. But if he was and came out, I think it could cost him the election, Richard. No doubt about it. I conveniently question why these tweets are being released now. As someone who's been doing this for 25 years as a journalist, doesn't pass the smell test. There's a real reason why these are being released.
Would he be more vulnerable, you think, because he wasn't upfront as to who he was, or because of if he were gay, his sexuality would be a non-starter for people?
I'm not so sure that he would be more vulnerable. I'm not sure it would make that big a difference. I don't care about this. I don't think a lot of people care about this.
Yeah, put it to the voters and
I
see.
totally agree. I think you're wrong. I don't think voters care. I really don't. And
Okay.
you might be right,
in
though.
Utah, Mississippi. I'm not so sure in Jersey, but I've been wrong, as you like to tell me many times. All right, we come back here. No politics. This is just a great story, even from Met fans. I'm talking about the scene we saw last night at Yankee Stadium where Mariano Rivera said goodbye. We'll have more on that after this.